This is going to be an interesting one as well. Gene Smith, does he represent Ohio State correctly? Do you, as a fan of Ohio State, do you feel that Gene Smith as an AD represents you and the school properly? Here's where all of this is coming from. Here, let's dive into this a little bit and have a nice little discussion here. So, this was an article written from on Scarlet and Game by our own Ryan Stano. I write for Scarlet and Game as well. And he said this is the direct quote that kind of got Gene in trouble this last couple weeks. It's so funny. Everybody's so focused on just one game, Smith said during an appearance on 11 Warriors Real Pod Wednesdays podcast of the back-to-back Michigan losses. We were basically 1 point away from being in the national championship game, and I think we had got that 2 points we needed to convert and ultimately played TCU. I feel confident we would have performed well and won a national championship. I'm not so sure about all this chatter. Ryan Stano then goes on to say, this is the quote that seems to be getting people up in arms. Some are taking it that Smith doesn't truly care about the game and that it's just one game. There's one specific outlet saying this online, and I refuse to give them any credit for a clickbait headline and quotes taken out of context. So, Chris, I'm going to give you the floor to respond here and let me know what you think about this specific before we go on into the other topic that we have with him.
Well, Eric, I don't know if Gene Smith is an idiot or just trying to take a backhanded approach to supporting the program. Either way, he needs to face reality. I mean, he basically dismissed the most historic rivalry in college football and the Big Ten championship, and it's foolish to me on so many levels. Yeah, this year, this next season at least, we can lose the game and still get in. We've done it twice now. Getting into the CFP without having won the title. But you know what? This is the last time I think we're really able to do that, Eric. I mean, first, you need to win your conference to secure your spot as far as getting that first round bye. You have to do that. And starting in 2024, it's extremely likely that we see that team up north in back to back games, Eric. I mean, very likely. And if it was just one game, that's fine. I mean, not that's not fine. It's if it's just one game, okay. If it's just you lose to them one, we haven't shown the ability to beat them at all, which means we lose to them twice. You lose two games back to back weeks that late in the season. That precious natty that you're wanting to play for, forget about it. You're not getting in. You're just not. I don't care if you're Ohio State or Alabama or anybody else. So to me, it is just absolutely foolish that he is willing to dismiss this rivalry, that he's willing to dismiss the Big Ten title and just say, oh, we're going to play for national titles. So that's what we do. We play for national titles. So my advice to Gene Smith is, and forgive me here, but get your head out of your backside, stop downplaying the game, get your coach, your team, and yourself in the right mindset to do what needs to be done. Beat your rival, win all the games leading up to that, and then go out there in the CFP and just kick the crap out of everybody that is in your way. It's that simple. Just prove to those people that prove to all the loudmouth, cousin kissing, IQ smaller than your shoe size people who support SEC football why the best football in the country is played right in Columbus, Ohio. Cut and dry.
Woo, fired up, huh?
A little bit.
Larry's hitting on our next part of this conversation. We pull out the poll question here. He said, "I think Gene is trying to lower the temperature." I
Temperature.
I I I think that's exactly what he's trying to do. Uh, unfortunately, it has a reverse effect. And Ryan, when he wrote the article, was saying that there was some clickbait there that was taking it out of context. What Gene is saying is, yes, we lost the game. However, the program is still in a very good place when you look at the national landscape and where we're at, which is the same thing that I kind of got on Kirk Herbstreit talking about a couple weeks ago when he was talking about the 15% of Ohio State fans that are brainless, is how he worded it. And he called us JAs. But my point is with these guys is this is very much a 90s John Cooper approach to the rivalry. There is no way in HE double hockey sticks that Urban Meyer would have allowed something like this to have been said. He understood from day one that it was all about beating the team up north. And if you did that, everything else would fall into place.
And Eric, if you don't do it now, I'm telling you, seriously, he wants to play for a national title. They're going to be left out if they get beat 2 times in a row by that team up north. Cut and dry. They'll be looking on the outside in.
This was our poll question for the week on Facebook. How do you view Ohio State AD Gene Smith? Your options were get rid of him, we can find someone better. Keep him, one of the best ADs in the country, or I'm indifferent, I don't have a strong opinion either way. 60% were indifferent. 16 said keep him, 24% said get rid of him. Chris, what did you vote for on this poll and why?
Well, I'll tell you, Eric, I have a tough time with this. I really do. As mad as I am right now, um, I do have a hard time with this because there are times when he has shown himself to be a really good athletic director. I mean, look at during the COVID season when he made that push. But at the same time, this is the same guy who cost us a national title when Urban first took over by giving us the self-imposed ban. It seems like this is Gene Smith's MO. I'm going to do something really stupid and then do something to come out and redeem myself. I just don't know how much longer I can give him to redeem himself. It's kind of like, you know, and I've said it before. It's kind of the same way with Ryan Day. I think Ryan Day is a great person. I kind of feel like Gene Smith is probably a really great person. But, you know, you can only screw the pooch so many times. And that's, you know, that's kind of the point I'm at with him. You know, I'm kind of, I almost want to slide myself into the indifferent category only because sometimes it's better to have the evil you know than the evil you don't.
Right.
And I really get that vibe when I think about the Gene Smith thing. As mad as I am at him right now for the 2 topics we're going to discuss tonight, you know, like I said, he finds a way to redeem himself seemingly after these screw ups.
Yeah.
Um, so right now, I'm going to put myself in the indifferent category at the moment, Eric. Even as human and mad as I am, I don't want to make a rash decision and say, can the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then what are we going to get?
Yeah. So, and that brings me to where I voted. I said keep him. Let me share this with all of you. So, Notre Dame just got a brand new athletic director.
Mm-hmm.
I asked on the Always Irish podcast, I asked in the chat section for feedback from the Notre Dame fans on if they would rather have Gene Smith than someone else. And overwhelmingly, like 90% were like, yes. Here's why. He's you know what you're gonna get. He's not going to technically hurt your program, but being athletic director is so much more than just being the overseer of the finances of football.
It is.
Okay. And Ohio State athletically is doing tremendous on a lot of fronts, including financially, which we've learned this week, as well as all the new buildings for all the other athletic department sports at Ohio State that he's built. The Covelli Center is beautiful.
It is.
The Jesse Owens Track and Field Center is gorgeous. The brand new tennis facility, I walked by that this past spring at the spring game. It looks awesome. They're building a brand new lacrosse complex and field hockey. They're going to be
That's
building
actually done, isn't it?
it might
I
be. I
think it
think it might
opened this
be.
season.
Um, yeah, I'm not a expert on that. And they're building a brand new hockey arena, which is going to be fantastic. So when it comes to building buildings, that's going to be Gene Smith's legacy at Ohio State, which is great. But when it comes to the football team, sometimes he puts his foot in his mouth, and I just wish Gene would wait to speak and grasp kind of the temperature of the room from Ohio State fans before he makes a decision. Like when he brought up playing the first round of the college football playoffs in Indiana at the Colts Stadium instead of using the shoe. That's asinine, Chris.
This guy, Eric, this week has, like I said, I'm trying not to say anything too rash. I really am. But this guy this last week has irritated my soul. I mean, he came out to 11 Warriors. He says Ohio State's never going to play another game past November in the dark ever again. He's talking about moving playoff games to Indianapolis. Are you serious? First of all, let me address the first thing, which was the playing the games in November. Okay, after night games in November. He says it's for player safety. Are you serious? I mean, seriously? You put a turf in Ohio Stadium that you refuse to replace with natural grass, turf where players have a 32% higher rate of non contact knee injuries and a 69% higher rate of non contact foot and ankle injuries. By the way, Eric, what was the condition of our running back room last year?
Terrible.
A lot of them were, knee, foot, ankle injuries?
Back, ankles. I mean, it
I
was
mean,
a mass unit.
these are things that can be directly linked to
Yep.
playing on turf.
Yep.
So you're going to be so hypocritical as to scream foul about playing a night game due to the risk of injury when you don't take the proper precautions to protect your players on a daily basis.
I know it. I know.
Then he comes out and excuse me, I listened to a segment he did with 11 Warriors. So here I'm just kind of on that rant about that at the moment. But he argued about the cost of winterizing a stadium. Dude, stupid. First of all, it's not that difficult to winterize that stadium. You can easily offset the revenues by having some college games outdoors, hockey games during that winter. You could play NHL games in the stadium during that. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have an NHL franchise there in Columbus, don't we, Eric?
That's debatable.
Okay, well, rumor has it the Blue Jackets are an NFL or an NHL franchise.
Yes.
Hey, I bet we can get them to come over to the shoe. You know what? Wouldn't you love to see the Battle of Ohio played in Columbus sometime?
Oh, that'd be
The
awesome.
Browns versus Cincinnati.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
These are all things you can do to offset that cost that you're so worried about with winterizing the shoe. And then, and the winterizing the shoe, like you said, directly ties into the whole CFP, playoff game.
Right.
It's really ridiculous. It is completely ridiculous. And I know we travel well, and yes, I know Indy is only an hour or so away from, or hour or 2 hours away from Columbus. Yeah, I know. It's a beautiful facility. It is. We
It
love
really
Lucas
is.
Oil Field. We haven't been there in a few years, but we've really loved Lucas Oil Field in the past, Eric.
Right.
So, I just he hurts my head, Eric. He really hurts my head when I think about Gene Smith because at times I feel like he's a complete moron. I half expect him to come out at Big Ten Media Days wearing a red nose and big old floppy shoes because he's such a clown. But then sometimes he does things that are so right.
Right.
It, I just, I, I've got nothing else, Eric. I got nothing else that I can say about Gene Smith right now, other than he needs to remove his head from his backside in case he's lost. That's that lump that's about 3 feet above the ground.